So Island to the South.
Indeed. South.
This is like, again, when you sent me all the songs and I was listening to this one, I was like, oh, this is kind of, well, I got a lot of, Mumford & Sons and, what they're called, Hey Ho.
Oh, the Lumineers.
Lumineers, that
Lumineers.
vibe, which is, I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Which is great, which is never a bad thing. And you haven't really had that performed too much.
No, yeah.
But I love the story behind this one. Tell me about like what inspired this.
Yeah, so do you reckon you can guess the myth that it's about, or the kind of legends
King
that
Arthur.
it surrounds? Yeah, you go there.
Yeah.
So because I love history and I've always used it as a way to like escape and kind of look into myths and stuff like that.
So were you reading history, or were you just reading a book? Or
yeah,
something?
and I kind of been. I'd watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, sweet.
You know, so that was the classic inspiration for this track. And I'd read up a bit about King Arthur and kind of read about a place called Camlan that was like part of the myths, and it's kind of like this mythical island where everything's fine and dandy, and he goes off and he sort of recovers there after battle. And I'd been writing a song kind of just about escaping and going to somewhere that's like new and open, and I think that was kind of linked to new life. I wanted to take it to a different space, and so kind of changing it and writing about this kind of legendary myth within this song was like really interesting to do, because I finally wrote a song that wasn't about me.
Yeah.
But it was really nice to kind of like break out and write something that was about a story.
Yeah.
And something in the past, and that was just like a really interesting thing in terms of songwriting to be able to do. So, yeah.
Oh, because I was wondering. I thought, has this been like a sort of a task set by the uni, saying like, right,
yeah.
you write something about this, and they give you a thing. But I thought it was really cool. Like,
Yeah.
kind of. I never really thought. I've never written like that before.
Yes.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Really kind of, it's quite inspiring in a way to be like, right, well, just, if anyone's thinking, there's not much going on in my life right now, what can I write about? That's a great way to kind of find something.
Absolutely.
It's like escaping into history or fiction, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Really cool. So, did this track come together as expected, or was it completely different?
I think this was the one that was like just as I imagined it almost.
Yeah.
I think I really saw it like, as we were saying, like the whole Mumford & Sons Lumineers thing. I really saw it as kind of building and having that sort of powerful strumming pattern throughout. And I think, like just the way that it came together was perfect. And I love how the piano came in. And I think I was inspired a lot by a guy called Mark Cohn, who's kind of like back before my time, but my dad used to love him. And all of the songs he released and things like Walking in Memphis, which all are driven by like the piano, the drums, the guitar, just all pushing together. And I think like the whole way that the song came together was just as I imagined it, which I was really pleased with. So, yeah.
So so again, Brookie did a great job in this track.
Yes. Yeah.
Like once we like got everything down and mapped out, I knew I was like, right, we're gonna need real drums.
Yeah.
There's no way that we can program this or do it justice with just yeah. So that was really, that was a highlight for me to hear the drums finally lift this track to where it deserved to be. And then, we also you had plans to like be like, should we bring a horn section in?
Yes.
When you ended up putting the guitar solos.
Yeah.
And I agreed. I was like, it'd be great to have like violins and everything, but unfortunately this time we didn't have the resources to do that.
It was just hard to fit in.
But
I think it worked really
happy
well.
with that?
Yeah, I was really pleased. I think whenever it gets to that point in the song and it's that classic like build up into the last chorus, like the way that the guitar comes in and it kind of does just what I needed it to do.
Is it big enough at the end?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just big enough, just enough. But yeah.
That was a challenging one for me because I had to kind of, I think that tested my mixing and mastering skills a bit.
Yeah.
Because it's so big.
Yes.
The bigger the track gets, the more elements going on and fighting for the listener's attention. I think anyone who's producing or does stuff could be like, you listen to that song and you're like, I don't know if I'm sure there's some people listening thinking, I could have mastered that much better or mixed it much better. Maybe.
Screw.
Probably could have actually, but I think I personally found it a challenge because I thought, I wanted to keep the energy. I didn't want to take anything out. But also, if I kept things in, it kind of, you could hear the compression, it squeezes the track, make it smaller. But I don't know. Hopefully, I got away with it because you didn't complain about it.
I think it sounds great.
Yeah?
He's just trying to be
no,
humble, isn't it?
Well, yeah. No, I love that track a lot. I was like, please, I just want it to sound, really big at the end.
Yeah.
It's a sort of track you'd love to play live, wouldn't you?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's what I always picture.
big
Is
band.
like really full.
Yeah.
Everyone's singing along. Like it works really well as
Yeah,
that
yeah,
sort of thing, and that's like the classic Mumford and Sons
Yeah.
sort of stadium folk thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So, so we talked about the best things, the highlights. Anything challenging about that song?
I think kind of it's weird because the verses are quite long, and just trying to find a way to differentiate them, and that was something that we struggled with quite a bit. I think
Oh,
like
that's
working
right.
out what to add in. And one of the things we did in the second verse was we added. I sung part of it an octave higher,
Yeah.
and that kind of helped it to build. But it was just finding ways to like get more elaborate with what was being played and what was being said, and the harmonies that you did worked really well as well. I think to like fill that bit out.
I only know how to do octaves and thirds.
But that's more.
So any
harmony.
harmonies on it? That's, if anyone listening who's like, oh, I'm just doing a third again. But I mean, that's all I know how to do.
It works
I can't do
perfectly,
fifths. But yeah, no, I think I always enjoy doing that because I think like again, it just gives that a bit of, well, like backing vocals always do give it a bit more of a push and a bit more choral sound. When it came to doing the horn section or that bit, I think we were kind of a bit stumped as to how to make that
work
big.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was just like, well, I mean, because predominantly I'm a guitarist.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can't get horns in. We're trying to create what would they do.
Yeah.
And so I think that was really cool. That was really fun building that.
Yes.
On layers.
Yeah.
But and again, like Charlie came up with all the cool ideas for doing sound effects.
Oh god, the weird samples once again.
But it works so well.
Yes. Yeah.
And you've got a really good instinct for like knowing, because I was just following your lead really. You're like, I think we should go there.
Yeah.
It's really cool because you've got obviously got it in your head somewhere.
Yes.
Whereas it probably wouldn't occur to me. But again, it makes the track
a
bit more interesting.
That was a really fun bit to do as well, and like it took forever to get the timing of the anvil right. You will hear like at the end of the middle eight, and it hits in time with the drums, and then like fire ups afterwards. And that was hard for mixing as well because you had to get like sound of fire mixed in, which is something that not many producers have to do.
No.
It's a little bit of a weird one, but yeah.
Well, I think luckily the audio that we were using for the sound effects, they were good quality audio. That helps a little bit.
Yeah.
And if they're balanced, it's not too bad. But because you probably would never do a music video for this one, would you? Because it's quite tricky.
Yeah, unless I could get like
Could you imagine what music video it would be? Would it be like a Holy Grail, like a Monty Python?
Yeah.
Sort
Full
of,
blown.
That would be a great idea, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Just an absolute, just taking the mick out of yourself.
Reenactment. Yeah. Just in an old medieval pub with like an anvil.
We could do
corner.
that.
Yeah.
We'll just do it on our phones. We'll film a little video.
Just buy some costumes online.
Or Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan. Would you like to do that?
If you like Monty Python,
be great.
Get that and then do the music video.
Get a Holy Grail. Could do all sorts.
Use that inspiration. Right. Is there anything else you want to talk about with this song?
I think that's it. I think it was just like such a lovely song to play around with because it's kind of like so fictitious and like open and creative that it wasn't too important how like perfect we got it, but I think having that space meant that we did kind of get it perfect in the end, which was really nice. Yeah.
Well, I think because up until that point you had New Life, which was a slower paced song.
Yeah.
Had Ambivalent Love, which lyrically obviously was more on the sadder side.
Yeah.
But musically on the upbeat side.
Yes.
And then we had Bottle Abuse. So this was the first track. Was like, right, come, let's just like maybe you needed to kind of like get out of wherever headspace you were at. And be like, right, I need to write something that's a bit more uplifting and a bit more escapism.
Yes.
That's what it was, and
and
again that's what's nice for the EP. Whilst being true to yourself, but not being like writing a song like, hey, everything's great, or when I'm not really feeling that way right now.
Yeah.
Which is what being
authenticity
an artist
you need.
is about, isn't it? Yeah. So check out Island to the South. If you love Mumford & Sons, if you love Lumineers.
If you love Monty Python.
Yeah, Monty Python. But a genuine Charlie Hewlett spin on it, then go and check it out.
Thank you.